Hey everybody, it's Johnny. Welcome to the channel. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about mindfulness and meditation. So these are two different practices that complement each other. Meditation actually enables mindfulness, and both of them have had a huge impact on my life, and so I wanted to share those learnings with you guys. If you've never heard of it before, mindfulness and meditation, I'm sure you heard of meditation, maybe you've heard of mindfulness, maybe not. But let's dive into mindfulness first, and I'll tell you how meditation can actually enable that. So mindfulness is just the premise, the art, the skill of appreciating the present moment and just being completely present and completely aware of where you are right now. So for me, a few years ago before I started these practices, when I was going around throughout my day, I would be wherever I was, right? Maybe I'd be mountain biking, maybe I'd be at work, maybe I'd be talking to my significant other, talking to my kids, doesn't matter. Whatever I was doing, I was there, but I wasn't there 100%. I was there, but there was a ton of thoughts running around the back of my head, and they all took up a little bit of my brain space, right? And so I don't know if you're the same way, but I definitely was. And so no matter how present I wanted to be, I was still distracted with all these thoughts. And so maybe I had, 9 different thoughts running through my head at the time. So even though I'm really focused on the person in front of me, I'm maybe 50% there. And 50% of my brain power is thinking about all these things that are flying through my head. And mindfulness is just the practice of changing that to be fully present in that moment. So a big benefit of this is I just got so much more joy, fulfillment, and appreciation for the things I already did in my life. So, for example, when I live by Sedona, Arizona. If you guys know Sedona, really famous place, really beautiful. And you can take all the beauty in whenever you want to, right? It's just gorgeous red rocks and trees and the canyon and all this good stuff. People fly from all over the world to go see it. And I actually had a client of mine, we were working on a one-on-one boot camp just for him for 3 days. And, his particular struggle was that he couldn't connect with ladies. He would go on dates and there was no connection there. And it was really frustrating him. And it was completely unrelated, but I was taking him out in the woods to work on these deeper processes. And we were driving to Sedona to go to this creek here. And while we're driving down, this is one of the most beautiful drives in the US, maybe in the world. I don't know, it's super famous. But I do it all the time, and so I actually get used to it. But every time since I've gotten to this practice, I really appreciate every moment, how gorgeous it is and all this stuff. And while I'm driving with this client, I noticed he's just making like little chit chat, mundane stuff, like nothing big. And he's completely missing the drive. There's these dynamic cliffs, red rocks, trees, a canyon, a creek, all this stuff. He's not even aware of it because he's just thinking about little things at work, little things that bother him, somebody else's life, when people like gossip or complain or whatever. And we're in this amazing space that people pay thousands of dollars to go see, and he can't appreciate it because he's got all these things running around in his head. And it clicked for me right then. And I talked to him a little bit about it afterwards, and I was like, man, I really noticed you really didn't enjoy that drive. Like, you're thinking about so many things. Can you try and be present and just enjoy the things around you? And we worked on meditation in the camp, and I showed him how to kind of clear out his thoughts. And he realized what he missed out on. He actually flew back by himself and just spent a weekend there. And he was like, you're completely right. I missed all the beauty around me. It was so amazing. And that's the power of mindfulness, and that's the power of being in the present moment, is if we can get rid of all this extra stuff in our head, if we can get rid of these thoughts of what I have to do in a week or a month, and I got this thing due at work, and I got to pick up the kids' laundry, and we're out of dish soap, and I got a credit card bill due or whatever, and just stop and appreciate where we're at, our surroundings, nature around us, our friends, our significant other we're talking to, how amazing our kids are, whatever it is, whatever we're doing, if we can be fully present, you can just increase the joy of the things you do already. And it's so incredible. It's such a feeling of ease when you're in the present moment, when you're not thinking about 100 different things, when you're just right there. And I actually had, what I feel like is like my first Zen moment when I was in Minnesota. Actually, I was in this waterfall with my daughter. We were on this little road trip up there. And I remember feeling the wind and the water, the calmness, and everything just kind of slowed down for me. I'd never had this feeling before, and I knew I was fully present in the moment. I could feel everything around me. I could hear everything around me, and I was just 100% present in that moment with all of nature and everything that was going on. And it was just the most amazing feeling. And that's when I knew what mindfulness really was. So mindfulness is the act of being completely in the present moment. And there's some tools and techniques we can use to be mindful of thoughts that come into our reality and emotions that spike because of stimulus and all this good stuff. And we're going to dive deep into that in another video. We'll dive really deep into creating space between stimulus and reaction and being mindful of our thoughts and emotions. For this one, we're just going to talk about mindfulness as the act of being fully present and mindful of what we're actually doing right now and putting our 100% full attention on it and our intention on it, which is super cool. If you start doing this process and you really put it into practice and you really start doing it and getting good at it, people will really find you very authentic, because you will be more authentic, because you won't be just saying service things where you think there's something else to say. When you're in a conversation, you're actually going to be fully present, paying attention to what they actually have to say, and actually resonating and taking that in and creating real responses instead of just thinking about what you're going to say next, or the project you got to do at work. And people will really start to gravitate to this, because this is not a skill that most people have. And when you find a truly authentic person, a lot of it is due to them being fully present in the moment, which is mindfulness. Mindful of yourself, your surroundings, and where you are right now, not in a week or what's due in the future. So if that's mindfulness, meditation is a tool that we can use to increase our mindfulness. And it is super powerful, and it will bring you a lot of peace and stillness in your life. So if you're like me, I used to work super hard. I still work super hard, and now I do it in a different way. But I was working all the time. I was trying to be the best at so many things, at sports, at music, all this good stuff, and be the best parent I possibly could, be the best partner I could possibly could. And I would just never give myself any slack, and I would never give myself time to relax, because I just packed my day over and over. I got to do more. I got to do more. I got to do more. And while I succeeded in a lot of stuff, I was stressed out all the time, and I was anxious, and I don't know if I was a lot of fun to be around, because I was always worried about something else. And I was on vacation. I was such a planner that when we're on vacation, like in Hawaii, and we're snorkeling, we're seeing all these fish we've never seen before in my life, I'm actually thinking about, are we going to make it to dinner on time? Or the next day, that booking fell through, I got to figure out something else, or I don't have the car reserved or whatever. And I got to be honest, while I was in Hawaii, I think 50% of the time at least, I was thinking about something else, which is tragedy in my mind now when I think about it. So meditation will allow us to get rid of these thoughts that are in our head, and it's a tool to let us unravel these pieces. So the purpose of meditation is pretty simple. We've got some guided meditations, and I've actually got one linked to this video down below. So if you just click in the description down below, there is a guided meditation from a lion's tail, and it's a great way to get started. It'll guide you through the whole process. I'll tell you a little bit about how to do it right now, and click that. Super easy to do and short duration, and you'll feel great after you do it. So go ahead and click that, check it out, and I guarantee it'll give you something. So with meditation, big thing is we're going to give you some guides, some audio. A lot of it's around like getting your attention focused on something in your body or around your body. And what that does is it distracts you. It takes you away from all those thoughts. And then we'll start getting into programming stuff. Like, what do we want to think about? Do we want to spend time thinking about our future self? Do we want to spend time in gratitude? Do we want to spend time thinking about how we want to show up? What choices we made today? Did we do what we wanted to do? How are we going to show up tomorrow? Whatever we want to do. That's the cool thing about meditation, is it's going to unravel our thoughts, allow us to have a clear headspace, and then we can start to work on whatever we want to, and we're going to be much more effective at it, which is really, really cool. So the premise is pretty easy. We're going to do that guided meditation. There's going to be some words. It'll be nice and calm music, nice and quiet. And it just gives you a little bit of time to let those thoughts sort of unravel and just be at peace in our mind, which is really cool. So when I started meditation, I got really frustrated because I was sitting there and I could not focus on any of the words, and I was so frustrated. And I said what a lot of my clients say when they first start: I'm just a bad meditator. I'm bad at it. All these thoughts flow through my head, and I can't focus on the words. And I'm just bad at meditation. It's not for me. And I always laugh because that's the whole point. I just didn't have a guide. I didn't have anybody to tell me that was the point. The first step in meditation is when you first start to get into this, you'll have all these thoughts come up. You just let those thoughts come up, because the thing is, they're already in the back of our heads. They come up, because we've actually relaxed a little bit, and there's space for all the noise that's going on in the back of our heads to come to the front of our heads. So this isn't something that just popped in your head. It's been in there the whole time, and it's been distracting you and eating up brain space. And now it's actually popped to the forefront, and we can deal with it. And the way we usually deal with it in meditation is just to acknowledge it and let it go, and say, okay, I'm going to deal with you a little bit later. And a lot of times I have my best insights while I'm meditating, because a thought will pop up. I'll be like, yeah, I didn't think about that. I'm going to register that. I'm going to take care of that later. And then we get back to my meditation. And it's really cool because you can deal with these thoughts, let them go, and move on to a clear headspace. And then when you get up, you have 2 things, 3 things that are great insights that you want to work on in the future. So the first part of meditation when you first start is going to be a lot of those thoughts just coming up and just being a bunch of noise. And it's perfectly fine. It's exactly the point. We're just going to let all that noise that's in the back of our head to come to the front of our head and just release it and just let it go. So it's going to come up, you'll let it go. Another thought will come up, you'll let it go. Another thought will come up and you'll let it go. And for me, it took about 2 weeks before I got really to a point where I could just focus on the words in a guided meditation. And so if you think about that, it took 2 weeks for the amount of noise that I had in the back of my head to fully unravel, and for me to have a clear headspace, which is just crazy. So much stuff in there, just taking up brain space and attention and all kinds of things. And so when you first start meditation, you'll probably feel like that. You'll probably have a bunch of thoughts that come up. It can get a little bit frustrating, but just know that's part of the process. It's completely the point. And then as that starts to unravel, we'll start to be able to focus more on the words, and it'll just get into this really deep state of relaxation. And it's just such a calming feeling, and you'll just be able to slow the world down. No matter if you live in New York City or London or you live out in the country, it doesn't matter. You just have a little bit of time that's just for you, just your space without anything else coming in there. And it's so peaceful. It just slows the world down for a minute, and then you can go back to whatever pace your life is at. But it's so nice to just have that space to create that whenever you want to. And if you can get to this space, it's so much easier to fall asleep whenever you want to. I can take a 40-minute power nap whenever I want to, because I just put on the meditation, let the thoughts release, and boom, I'm out. And I feel so good, so energized. I'm just ready to kill the day after that. So that's how meditation usually starts. After a couple of weeks, it'll get a little bit easier, and then we can start focusing on whatever we want to work on. So when we have this clear headspace, we can then start spending time as our future self. We can work on affirmations. We can work on choices we made, reflecting on the day, all kinds of different things. And so meditation is a really cool way to get some of that space, like we were saying, some of that alone time and clear headspace, and unravel all the thoughts. And what I really feel at the end of this is a lot of peace. I let all that space that all those thoughts were taking up gets freed up, and it just feels so freeing, I guess. It feels so freeing and open and less claustrophobic. And as you get better at meditation, you'll be able to do this, and it will make you much more grounded, much more present. And now you can be much more mindful, like we were saying, and connect. And now you can be present with other people. You can really pay attention to what somebody is saying, because you don't have 10 thoughts in the back of your head, because you allowed yourself to let those thoughts come to the front of your mind and then release. And you can do that over and over. And that's like the step 1, right? Step 1 is maybe getting rid of all the thoughts that are in front of your head. Step 2 is maybe getting to a place where you can fully relax and just be present and be mindful. And then it goes so much deeper after that. If you're familiar with any of Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, his premise, you can heal your body with meditation. It's a deeper relaxation than sleep, and there's so much power in there. You can do whatever you want with it. And this is like the way to just dip your toe in and just get started, and you'll fall in love with it, I bet. Like if you just give it a solid 2 weeks, there's such calmness there, there's such peace there, and you can use it for whatever you want to. The value is just incredible. So I can't remember if I mentioned this before, but we're actually going to do a live webinar on mindfulness and meditation. We're going to go so much deeper in all the benefits of it, how this can actually change your life like it did for me, how it can make you a much more genuine and present person for all of those around you, and just make people just love being in your presence because you're genuine, you're fully there, which is such a gift to other people. So we have a link to that webinar below. Go ahead and check that out, and it'll be the best hour you spent this week, I bet. Okay, so if that really spoke to you and you're like, yeah, webinar sounds cool, but how can I learn more? We dive deep into this as a part of our mentorship practice. Meditation, mindfulness is a part of our daily routine, which is super cool. And if it really spoke to you, there's also a link down below to book a call with me and find out a little bit more about our mentorship program, which is really like the meat and potatoes of what we do. And so if you're interested, check that out. We can just chat, see if it's a good fit, or I can just give you some information about what we do here and that kind of stuff. So that's mindfulness and meditation, one step on your journey to becoming your ideal self, which is what this is all about, right? I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you found some value, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.